think realistically I could be live. I think I am. Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to round 1 of the RaceOnOz Imitation Games GT3, a new adventure for RaceOnOz with a dedicated GT3 League. Brand new, something we haven't tried before. Something I'm very excited to be trying for the very first time. Seeing a lot of very, very quick names up the top of this field. Distinct Sharky laying it down in practice, being the man to catch in that distinct liveried AMG GT3 Evo nonetheless. So AMG with a strong presence here tonight as he jumps back to the pits. We'll have a look at Lemons making his RaceOnOz debut tonight in the Audi R8 GT3. Just waiting on one more driver to join us tonight. Jono Stan will be making our 15th driver appearance. Someone who has a very rich history in RaceOnOz. Just double checking everyone is in and good to go. And Jono's in. Giving the starting orders. Displays on, show everyone what's going on in regards to these drivers, how they achieve their lap time. You have to bear with me as I share a few links and whatnot. Here we go, kicking off qualifying, 10 minutes around Barcelona, Catalunya. Of course, the Spanish Grand Prix circuit in the capital. I think I've probably just misquoted the capital of Spain already. I'm actually torn as to whether it's Madrid or Barcelona. I'm pretty sure it's Madrid. I hope no one watches that back far enough to catch that one. Geography's never been a strong point of mine. As cars filtering out on the circuit. And two yellow machines there, nose to tail, exiting the pits. Jono Stan rocking the solo livery on the Beetle tonight. Jono's been very, very expressive with the Beetle liveries lately. Very good to see it on circuit tonight. Tank, the young man, one of our youngest competitors. Someone who is no stranger to putting it on pole, of course. Rocked the Motorsport Australia Championships, Cup I should say, last season with a race win over Andrew Lee, of all people. Tank will be one to watch tonight. He'll be locked in, wanting to get some strong results in such a quality field. Already spoken about Lemons. Lemons in an Audi R8 tonight as all these guys streaming down the back straight. It's going to be a bit of a challenge to find space, I think, as Lemons there choosing to duck out of it. Wiz going around his outside. Wiz, one of our step-ups for the night, originally drafted into Room 2, in Room 1, after all, as we had a few people unfortunately drop out. Wiz, whose qualifying lap has come undone before it's even started. That's a massive shame for Wiz, who is going to have to wear that half-second penalty on his first hot lap. That's a bit of a shame there for the RaceOnOz veteran as we look back here to Timothy Anthony, Tim Ant 46 here, sporting some very nice Subaru Classic colours on the BRZ. That's a look and a half actually, that is very nicely done. I believe a livery from the Great Lane Everingham, if I do spot it myself. Very sharp livery indeed, something that was around in the Project One esports days, which there'll be a few people around that remember that league. There's quite a few hot names in Oceania who like to apply their trade in that league. A bit of a shame that we lost it, but very cool. There are still many people around from it. Another one from the Project One Racing League behind him, Banana Cake Pie, sporting another Project One Racing Team livery. This Evo that is very sideways there, coming through turn 4. And he's got HB Motor Company behind him, so HB starting his lap very close behind the Evo indeed. And and that's surely going to be hurting his lap time as Banana there just gets out of it and lets HB go, which is a very, very nice thing to do. Of course, settings tonight, there is no dirty air and no slipstream to be found when following other people. So all that's now able to be switched off, which is a really good thing for everybody involved in this racing, because it's just a bit of a pain whenever we have this awesome concept for racing and it's always ruined by dirty air or whatever may be going on with the physics system in Gran Turismo. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but you know, it can on occasion throw us some curveballs. And talking about curveballs, someone who's caught them very well, S2T Snorksall, straight to track driver, making RaceOnOz his home more often than not at the moment, as the qualifying time started to pour in here. Tank, the young man, to the top, 40 flat. A very handy lap time. I think all eyes are going to be on Distinct Sharky, though. He's been very quick. Won 2 out of our last 3 RaceOnOz Sunday League races. He'll be a man to watch, absolutely. The person who just couldn't quite catch him in last night's sprint round at Abu Dhabi, DJ Master in P2, and something we're not used to seeing actually, DJ Master at P2 in a 458 Italia GT3. So DJ Master throwing it back there with a car that's hardly homologated for GT3 racing these days. Of course, Gran Turismo, one of those games that does actually have a lot more of those older school GT3 spec cars, is the way I'm going to choose to put it, rather than telling you that we don't have a lot of the newer cars. Yeah, this 458 Italia sounds brilliant, looks amazing. Very cool to see the Super Dry livery. It looks potentially based off those Ineos liveries from Super GT. That's very, very sharp there from DJ Master. So a great look from him, as we see purple sectors there from DJ Master. So he's on a bit of a burner here, trying to dethrone the young man of the Porsche, who is... Actually, I was going to say he's just ahead of him, but it's Blocky Rex, the man sitting in P3 currently, who's just ahead of him. And those two teammates tonight, that is Tank and Blocky Rex. We see there the first lap from Sharky just came in below. That was in the 2-minute 19s. So Sharky playing it with the Ultra Meta Strats at the moment, going with the fuel burning as Tank there goes faster. Tank with a 39.8 as Blocky picks up a penalty there ahead. Jono Stan has extended his to a full second. DJ goes faster, but only improves to a 40 flat. So DJ here trying to grab the non-existent slipstream off of Blocky Rex. Probably didn't quite check the lobby regs as he swings it into turn 1. See there, another great lap time there. Velvos, we haven't spoken about him yet. Velvos in the Porsche goes to P4. And it's a very nice livery indeed. Some shades of the Dynamic GT, actually, I must say. Probably just the green on it. But that's the Defy Esports livery. And great to have Defy on the grid tonight. These guys have been making a name for themselves over at Adrenaline GT, especially in their ACC league. They have been doing bits and pieces. As Velvos there, only a 10th down in Sector 1. He's going to be rocketing forward, I think, during this race. P4 is only where he is right now. With still 4 minutes to go in qualifying, so lots of time to catch up. Lots of time to get something done. We have a Lamborghini on the grid, ladies and gentlemen. It's Scozzy, or Scobby, as we see here via PSN. And it's the Hurricane GT3, not even the Evo version, so this one is certainly one of the more outdated entries. And I believe this could be the CP Motorsports livery. And CP Motorsports, of course, one of the more well-known teams in Australia. A Sharky there, lays his mark. It's a 39.9 for Sharky in the AMG. So Sharky getting it done in qualifying, putting it straight on the front row to challenge the lap of Adam Alzane. Of course, Tank R7 286 provisional pole right now. We'll jump up to see what our provisional pole sitter is doing right now. And he just laid off for that last lap, so giving himself a bit of time, calming it down as Tim Ant there, 41.6, a little bit off the pace right now. Just over a second and a half to find to get himself up the pointy end. Velvos improves to a 40.1, very, very close up the top at the moment. Top 4 separated by only 0.3. And that is the sort of competitiveness we want to be seeing here in RaceOnOz. It's so good to be having all of these drivers join us as Tank there, 2.5 seconds off in Sector 1. He's buttoned off, but Sharky will have a check at the lap time. He swings it through the middle sector, very close. There's Lemons there to the top. So Lemons 7.836 to the top in the Audi R8 with a 39.7. That is a very good lap time indeed there from the debutant. And car 87, we're so used to seeing it with Noodles, Paul Cantinolian, of course, who was a force to be reckoned with at times in the RaceOnOz GT Sunday League. Of course, a Division 1 champion. We haven't seen 87 on the grid in quite some time, but Lemons has taken it up and doing quite a fine job indeed in that Audi. We'll have to keep an eye on him to see how he goes, but Sharky right now swinging it through the final corner. Has Sharky got what it takes to grab provisional pole? Just under 2 minutes to go now in this session. Sharky goes better but can't quite improve his position, stays P3. But the AMG driver still has a few laps to go, probably just fit in a second lap if he stays on it. As we'll go back here, Tank just found himself a little bit of clean air here, still a 10th and a half off of the new provisional pole sitter, and he'll be pretty unhappy about that. Of course, still not on a lap. John O'Stan there goes quicker, a 41.4 from the Beetle, and it's starting to become happy hour. It is fast lap city. Wiz 94 there going quicker. We'll have a look towards the back of the field as we have Average Dad and Wiz at the back of the moment. Average Dad improves with a 41.9. Very impressive from the man who joined so late. Snorksel going quick with a 41.5. Checking in with Lemons, who looks like he's probably dashed his qualifying there, because starting his final lap, he's got a half-second penalty. Oh, and that's not what you want to start that one. So eyes now on Tank, the man in the Porsche, flying the German flag, as well as others. Scobby going quicker there, a 41.1 from Scobby. That's all good, Womble. If you jump in room 2, mate, there is still room for you, I believe. And Selraf should have that lobby open. If you join quickly enough, you might be able to catch race 1. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to jump in for race 2 and race 3. Or if you want to try and face the aliens, you're more than happy to do that as well, I suppose. It's a Tank here, that gorgeous sounding Porsche. That is such a good note coming from the flat 6. He's pushing here, he's pushing very hard. Sharky to P2, so Sharky can't quite get Lemons, so close at the top. And what's the split say from Tank? It's up. It is up nearly 0.2 of a second with only 1 sector to go, but he's got traffic ahead of him. Go on board now with the young man. And of course, no dirty air to affect him, but he's run very wide there. Oh, and I hope that's just a little bit of lag. John O'Stan there sneaking into the top 8 of 41.3, and it's a penalty for Tank. Oh, on a lap that looked like it had it all, and a penalty right when he could least afford it. Oh, it's cost him big time as Tank stays P3. DJ now on his final lap. What can he do in the Ferrari? Stays P4. Velvos last lap couldn't improve. Blocky couldn't improve. Scobby now on his final lap. 41.1 has him in P7. Quite a gap between P6 and 7. 2 classes really in room 1 at the moment. What can he do to improve? It's a big improvement there, nearly 0.3 to keep him in P7. John O'Stan, he's found what he can find, 41.3. HB in 9th, Banana Cake Pie in 10th. Snorksel P11 comes across. Wiz stays 12th. Tim Ant 13th with a penalty, and Average Dad rounds out our field in what was a very competitive qualifying at the top, but it's Lemons. Lemons 7.836 on his debut to RaceOnOz that grabs the pole position for Imitation Games GT3. And it is a very, very warm return to the 87 to be on pole position once again. Sharky there, I must have missed that. Sharky out of nowhere grabs pole by 300, so I didn't realise he had another lap in it. But we've missed it entirely, and at the death, the AMG steals it by 0.03 of a second over Lemons. I was wrapping him up. I was hyping him so much about that pole position, but it was so close and just dashed at the final moment by Sharky. What a qualifying. Really disappointed to have missed that lap. Thank you, Snorksel. I missed that one entirely. And a great lap by Sharky. We'll see it here. Sharky with a 39.6, the first man in the sixes. And a very, very quick lap at that. Your top 6 separated by less than 0.8 of a second. And it's Sharky on pole who will get to elect his side of the grid. And we go into some admin duties now. Just bear with me. This is the beauty of commentary and admin at the same time. As for those of you joining us for the first time, which I assume there's not many who haven't really seen our format of races before, we do a manual formation lap before the start of the race to mimic real-life GT3 racing. A little bit tougher in Gran Turismo compared to what we have in, of course, ACC or similar games, but it is an awesome spectacle. Evens right, odds left. That is completely wrong. Yes, thank you, Snorkel, for doing that for me. And there we go, just getting all the admin duties over. And just those final orders for everyone. So manual formation lap, single file up until the third last corner, which is that right-hander right at the top there. And then 100 kph double file and a race start at the finish line for 9 laps. Very, very excited. And it should be good to go any minute now. Checking that there is no one calling out for help in the Discord. Looks like everyone's good. Everyone's happy. Everyone is raring to get going. And Snorkel's given our orders. Here we go. Of course, manual formation lap gives us a little bit of time just to check out our grid once again. Check out these lovely liveries on these cars as well. This is a very pretty field. Pretty stoked that everyone's really gone above and beyond with these cars. So here we go, great looking grid. Of course, this is just like real life, where we'll see all these guys peel off slowly. At least we should. There's someone back there burning fuel or ready for a race start. Trying to make sure that they don't absolutely go flying. And someone's missed the memo. HB, it is a HB. Okay, so HB will have to find his spot in the grid now, which is actually doing quite well. And he should be able to go back and find where he has to be. I think he's already pretty much back there. He's actually done a very good job. Well done, HB. Very well done indeed. So HB finds his way back into P9, where I believe he has to be. And we can have a look at our field. So crisis averted and back to it. So Sharky on the pole, and of course we can actually have a sneaky little look at our tyre developments now. So of course for tonight you must use a different compound of tyres for every single race. So Sharky starting on pole position, going with a hard tyre, so banking on that pace advantage in the distinct AMG. Lemons in behind him, also on the hard. Tank on the hard as well. DJ also on the hard, so all these guys starting hard. Velvos will be the one to watch on the mediums. He's the first one that's gone for a bit stickier. Blocky also on the mediums. Scobby behind on the hards. Jono on the hards. HB on the mediums. Banana on the hards. Snorksel on the mediums. Wiz on the mediums. Average Dad on the hards. And Tim Ant from the back on the hards. So a lot of hard and medium runners. No one wanting to use their soft tyres in race 1. And that is going to be very, very interesting to keep an eye on. Of course, these are 3 short races, 3 9-lappers effectively. Of course, this first lap is a formation lap. And I've heard from many of these drivers, the formation lap is a lot of fun. Of course, everyone gets into the groove. So something that we don't see all the time in Gran Turismo. Of course, the formation lap, as we see Sharky now. They're just slowing everyone up, getting them in order, making sure he's bunching them all up. And we'll be able to hold 100 Ks. Look at this field, double file around this second last corner. Sharky and Lemons, your front row. Doesn't this look amazing? 7 rows of GT3 cars on Gran Turismo, gridding up, ready for a rolling start at Catalunya as we get ready for race start. All these race cars in a line, rolling up towards the finish line. There will be a race start here. As soon as you hit, someone's just creeping out of line, ready to go. And we're off and racing. Sharky gets the jump. They're 4 wide in the background with Snorksel. Sharky, though, pulling ahead of Lemons, and it's chaos back here, just trying to get a good view of this 4 wide. It looks like they've all sorted themselves out heading into turn 1. Sharky with a grid of cars behind him. There's contact in about 2 rows back, and it looks like they're all going to make it through turn 1 cleanly. No one stepping wide. And all these cars shuffling and dicing for position. As Lemons has got a challenger. Tank round is the outside. Velvos right up behind these guys. Of course, Velvos, your first driver on the medium tyre. As Tank there running wide. Was there contact? DJ very close to the rear end there. And there we see Sharky just in the grass. Tank getting swallowed up by Velvos round the outside now. But Velvos is blocked in there from Lemons. That Audi R8. Very wide rear end. But Velvos gets it done. Up into P3, so that's a position already for Velvos, who will figure it out very, very quickly that he has a tyre advantage, I should say, as it looked like there was potentially contact there between the 87 and the 2. So those guys getting very close for comfort, as all of them scrambling to find their own piece of track at the moment. And Tank just defending around the outside from DJ, who thinks he's got the move done there. Oh, there's contact in the background there. Contact, I think it was Wiz going round. Tibet's out sideways as well. And it seems Wiz has gone all the way to the back. So we'll have to catch up on what happened there in a second. Sharky, though, is running. Not wanting to give any of these guys a chance. Of course, all on the hard tyre. Well, at least most of them. Velvos, the first of our medium runners, all over the back of Lemons now, and he doesn't want to see Sharky get away because he knows now he's probably got a chance at this race win, as Tank and DJ still going at it now, side by side down the main straight on lap 2 of the race effectively. DJ with the inside line. Tank has to concede the position on this one as Blocky, his teammate, is now going to get very close, and there's a bit of a tyre disparity between these two as well. Blocky on the softer compound of these two. Medium tyres for the Kiwi. Car 88 all over the back now of car 44, and isn't that fitting? 44 and 88 in the race together, 5th and 6th at the moment. Nose to tail, Jono Stam with a strong start in the Beetle, staying on the hard tyre, and he's got Snorksel for company, so that Audi R8 getting all over the back there of the Beetle. And is he going to get the move? I don't think he is, although there may have been more contact there, as HB getting racy, trying to make a move on Jono. He wants the inside line as well, and they're pushing and shoving as Jono desperately tries to stay in P7 and does it round the outside. Jono Stan, great defense there from the veteran in the Beetle, and that is a classic example of experience going a very long way. Snorks will have to wait to get into P7. HB not able to move any further forward as well. It's Banana Cake Pie behind him, who has a great view of everything going on, as HB there pokes the nose on Snorksel. He's got a little bit of a run, but not quite enough to take it, as we've actually had Velvos there grab the position on Lemons. So the medium runner now P2 in the Porsche, and he's got an air gap of just under a second to Sharky ahead. So this is going to be a tasty battle. We'll take this opportunity just to have a look at what happened to Wiz, as we see all of these guys that were heading in to this left-hander. It looks like Wiz had Tim, Average Dad, and Scozzy all behind. Scozzy picked up a penalty. Average Dad went deep, and I think that was how it happened. Average Dad deep into the corner, and we didn't quite see it there, but there was definitely contact there between Average Dad and Wiz, and Average Dad's actually found himself 5 seconds off the back of the field. So not the best of starts there for the Div 2 man. But there is always race 2 and race 3. Of course, that'll be the same going for Tim, Wiz, and Scozzy. Your driver's outside the top 10 at the moment. Wiz there in 12th, holding on in the Ferrari and setting some decent lap times as well. Of course, the medium tyre underneath him. But quite a spread at the moment from 11th forward There's actually not a huge field spread at all. As Sharky here settling in, these two are trying to run away from the field, and Sharky showing his race pace with the hard tyre underneath him. A lot of strategy in using the hards first, because of course that is the slowest of the tyre. It's going to make the 10 laps quite comfortably, but there is certainly a bit of strategy in suffering with race pace in your very first effort. He's been fortunate. He didn't have much of a challenge from Lemons off the start, but it is Velvos who's managed to just gap ahead of Lemons and the other guys in behind, DJ, Tank and Blocky, and get out into second. 4/10 now between first and second. This is going to heat up nice and quickly, just the way we like it, as we'll go to the onboard cameras here from Velvos. Hear that beautiful Porsche flat 6 note. Said it before this stream, I will say it again, that is such a lovely sounding car. Velvos there a little bit too far back to throw a dive from here, but he's keeping very close, just keeping in the wheel tracks of Sharky, and he's going to start sizing him up, trying to understand where he can get by, where there's opportunity to grab the race lead here. Velvos, of course, no stranger to these events at all. Had a few, I think 2 wins in the multi-class GT3, GT4 last season. It's great to have him aboard as we go here to the roof cam of that Porsche. Check even if we've got, nope, we don't have that working. We have gone from one Porsche to another, as we see Blocky here still all over the back of Tank, and no movement going on here. We have actually, Jono Stan has lost a few positions, so Jono Stan back in 9th, so he's dropped 2 spots to Snorksel and HB, who I believe are both running the softer compound of tyre. So Jono stand now with Banana Cake Pie all over the back of him. Beetle versus Evo. Haven't seen this in a while. These are 2 cars very underused in the world of GT7. We'll have to see how that goes, as Velvos now even closer than he was last lap. 2/10 now between Sharky and Velvos. This is very close indeed, and Velvos needs to be using every bit of tyre advantage he's got right now. All that extra grip the mediums are giving you. Dig deep, make it happen. As we come up now on the halfway distance, actually more than halfway I should say. Maybe just about halfway, losing my bearings a little bit. As Velvos here pulling out down the inside. I think Sharky's realised this one isn't worth fighting, as Velvos down the inside grabs the lead off of Sharky, and with the medium tyre, making it count underneath the Porsche, and Defy Esports in the lead now for the RaceOnOz Imitation Games GT3 Round 1 at Catalunya. Velvos in control. A very, very heads-up pass there from Velvos, and very smart from Sharky not to fight it as well. Sharky's got brilliant race pace with those hards underneath him, but it is not worth fighting. Doesn't need to go wild at the moment. He knows that he's going to have the advantage in races 2 and 3 over Velvos. In fact, the only man he needs to worry about right now really is Lemons, who isn't too far back now. He's found a little bit more in the Audi, as Blocky there manages to find his way past DJ, and the Ferrari losing a spot there to the Porsche in the middle of the circuit. And that's a move that Blocky's been waiting to get done for a while, as DJ runs very wide there out of Samba corner and grabs a half-second penalty for his troubles as well. So that, I think, is all the invitation that Tank needed. Completely missed as well that Blocky had actually jumped both Tank and DJ. So in the space of a lap, I believe, he's grabbed 2 positions and put himself into the top 4. So going well at the moment for Blocky Rex on his return to RaceOnOz. It's been quite a while between drinks for him. I believe Abu Dhabi in January was the last time we saw him on circuit for the Imitation Games. Going very well indeed in P4. Teammate in P6 running wide out of the final corner, and that could be a half-second penalty for him as well. Might, though, have evaded the smiting of Kazunori Yamauchi. Snorksel in P7, looking quite comfortable now with the medium tyre underneath him, and 4 laps to go now. He's leading HB in that McLaren, who also went with the medium. Finding pace now every lap is HB Motor. Looking quite comfortable after that little dilemma at the start that he very quickly righted, and very well done so. As Jono plummeting a little bit in the hards, finding pace though, can see down into the mid-43s now is Jono with the hard tyre. Very difficult to do, especially in the front-engine Beetle, as he gets it sideways there in turn 4. And very, very stylish there from Jono Stan, who was putting on a bit of a show in the solo-sponsored Beetle. And it's Scobby who's actually made a move on Banana Cake Pie recently, grabbing his spot in the top 10 as Wiz there looking for a move on BCP as well. So there's a little bit of action going on at the back as well. Everyone top to bottom having a little bit of fun with this sprint night. Of course, 3 races. We have 3 10-lappers, each with a manual formation lap. And these drivers must use a different tyre compound every time they hit the circuit. So race 2, all these guys will have different grip levels underneath them. We'll have to figure it out all over again. Wiz trying to get himself into the top 11, looking very racy at the moment. I think it was Banana also on the hards, it was. So there's certainly a grip advantage in that Ferrari right now. He might have had the inside there for the second last corner. Not to be. Tim-Man having a bit of a slow start to tonight. 44.4, finding pace every single lap. So he is certainly picking it up. He'll be lots quicker in race 2 and 3. Of course, using the hards. Very clever there from Tim-Man. Average dad the exact same. Hard tyres underneath him. So not wasting anything of the good stuff. Soft tyres still to come there for average dad, going quicker. 43.8, that is quite quick indeed for the hard. So he's figuring it out quite quickly. Man who's already got it figured out, Velvos, 2 seconds to the good now over Sharky. And tell you what, anytime you can put 2 seconds over Sharky, you're having a very, very good day. He hasn't become a Distinct driver lately for no reason. And is a great pickup there from Distinct Esports. As I saw there in the background, Lemons actually has some company from Blocky Rex, the FR racing driver. So Rid1 F1, who isn't racing tonight, usually around for these Monday night series events. Very happy with what's going on at the moment. As Blocky there with the run already, and Blocky capitalising on Lemons running wide, and Lemons, oh, I think that was just a little bit of lag, making it look like he'd run wide there, but Blocky Rex on the charge, all the way up into P3 goes the New Zealander. So a great drive so far. And Blocky capitalising on what was a pretty solid qualifying and making use of these medium tyres. So medium runners now 1st and 3rd with hard tyres, 2nd, 4th, and I believe 5th as well for Tank. So Tank hanging on to the top 5. He's got DJ for company right behind him, also on the hard tyres, as these guys start their penultimate lap now. Lap 9 of 10. Snorksel's made good ground on the mediums, bringing HB with him, so mid-engine cars as far as you can look at the moment. So that Audi, and that gorgeous Kelso electrical Audi, of course, very well known amongst the Australian racing community. Brad Schumacher all over it, of course, business owner for Kelso Electrical, and a Bathurst local, someone who is very familiar with GT3 racing, someone I would love to have try out GT7 and offer his 2 cents, because his cars look fantastic. We love repping them in RaceOnOz, and Snorksel does a fantastic job at making them look this good. It is very, very cool to see. Pan up towards the front once again. Velvos now another second put on Sharky, and he's not really losing out to Blocky all that much. Of course, is a man on charge at the moment. Just picked up P3 last lap, 41.5 on lap 7, so he's actually only marginally slower than Velvos. Of course, same car, these guys both in the relatively new 992 GT3R. It's proving a very formidable weapon at the moment for Group 3 racing in GT7. You see there, Blocky's driver checking the mirrors, having a look at where Lemons is, making sure that gap is still nice and consistent. Because of course, this is about the time that any of your softer tyre runners are going to start feeling a little bit of the burn. There's going to be bit of tyre wear going on for those mediums, and I think that real edge that they had at the start is going to start fading ever so slightly. It won't be a lot, shouldn't be enough for these guys to lose position, but it is worth considering that these cars will get a little bit more taily on this final lap here. As we check in with Velvos, 3.5 seconds now over Sharky, and seemingly cruising to the first win of the night is Velvos. As we see that Porsche screaming down the straight, nearly 4 seconds he's got over Sharky, who has been bulletproof tonight so far. Pole position with his final lap, just stole it over Lemons and putting in a hell of a shift on the hard tyre. It looks like Blocky is catching, but it might be too little too late, as he is slowly burning out that front left tyre. And even he's got Lemons right behind him, so a little bit of company there for Blocky Rex. He'll be hoping he doesn't lose out on the final lap. as Lemons keeping it very consistent in the Audi. Tank there, holding on to a top 5. FR Racing 3rd and 5th. Great night for them so far. As DJ there, no, second penalty for DJ, and he was all over the back of Tank, and this is going to be very costly there for the man who actually won the sprint race last night at RaceOnOz Sunday League Division 1. And this isn't what he wanted on the final lap of the race. This is certainly going to cost him a position to Snorksel. Maybe even HB, who is within a second now of Snorksel. He's still hanging onto the back of that Audi. And HB, who will surely be keeping an eye on this penalty here. Pulls out to the left down the back straight. Snorksel, is he going to get him? We'll watch from onboard HB. DJ goes defensive. Snorksel, I think, may just miss out on this one. Goes for over-under. Not quite enough overlap though, as we'll go towards the front. Velvos, who streams through the final corner. It's going to be a first win for Velvos in this series. It's going to be a first win for Defy Esports, and Velvos takes the checkered flag for race 1 of Imitation Games GT3. Sharky from pole, holds on to P2. Blocky Rex with the charge to P4. Lemons, Blocky Rex to P3, my apologies. Lemons and P4, Tank P5. DJ holds on to P6 with Snorksel and HB 7th and 8th. Jono Stan comes across the line in the Beetle P9 with Scobby behind him for 10, who hangs on. Wiz got 11th in the end over BCP, who comes home 12th. Tim Ant on his return to RaceOnOz will go 13th. And it is Average Dad after a little bit of a learning round for him, P14, and that is your field for the first race of the night. But of course, all congratulations go to Velvos for a very, very well-driven race. Of course, another CP Motorsports driver as well. Maybe that was in the past, because definitely Defy Esports all over that Porsche. And we'll just save that replay so that we can keep a tab on the tyres and check once again on our result. Just over 18 minutes in total this race. And a 41.5 for Velvos to take fastest lap and the win. Very, very tidy indeed. As we'll check in with our second half of the grid. Jono, Scobby, Wiz, BCP, Tim and Average Dad. Take your final 6 positions. And Wiz seemingly left the room. Potentially just an oil change for him. And putting the admin hat back on quickly. We'll just need to guide Snorksel through the changes to make. Oh, he may be all over it. Wouldn't that be something? He may not have changed the time of day. Maybe he did. No, he didn't. There we go. Time of day change. And there we go. Proper time of day popping up. And smack bang in the middle of the day. And Wiz joins back as well. So great to have Wiz back. And I don't believe we lost anyone else in the process. There we go. Wiz back. And everyone can jump back on. Happy days indeed. Just remind everyone to please use... I don't need to get on the track. At HB they're apologising for the formation lap blunder. Not to worry, that was very quickly rectified. I think we're all just shaking it in now and just about ready to get going for race 2. Not many breaks between racing tonight. As Velvos there, our pole sitter, and we'll just wait for Snorksel to have that grid sorted. Can you pull up? Oh, of course I can. My apologies. You're lucky I'm checking the stream chat at all. I assume you'll just comment when I need to bring up the last 6 positions. There we go. Jono, Scobby, Wiz, Banana Cake Pie, Tim, and Average Dad. Your final 6. Let me know when I can close that, please. Not a problem. Thank you very much. I'll just quick little good luck for everyone. We should be good to go. Happy days. I believe that does look good. It'll be interesting now to just see what tyres everybody's on. I probably should have been keeping track of it. And should be getting going any second now. We're just sorting through the last of our admin checks, and I think we're good to go. Look at this, starting signal has been given. So race 2, only a few seconds away. Of course, formation lap once again for these guys to grid up. Hopefully no more bolters from HB. And I'm sure he'll live that one down. It was a very good start, I must say. Too good for the McLaren, that's for sure. We'll start keeping an eye now on what tyres all these drivers are on. And Velvos straight away, soft tyres underneath him, so the pole sitter. And weaving straight away. Everyone gets it. Everyone's got the message. Very good to see. Let's go through these tyres, ladies and gentlemen. Velvos starting on pole. P2, Sharky. Soft tyres underneath Velvos. Sharky, mediums. So taking all the pain early. Hards, then mediums for Sharky. Blocky Rex going from the mediums to the softs, so more pace from Blocky, and certainly a forwards charge to come from him. Lemon's doing the same. Hard tyres in race 1, mediums in race 2. Tank going for the soft tyres as well, trying to make it happen in the middle stint. DJ, mediums underneath him, so again, doing that, taking the pain early stint. Snorksel going for the quick stint on softs. HB starting on the hard, so slower from HB. He's got Jono right behind him on the mediums, going with that strat as well. Scobby just inside the top 10 on the mediums, and I actually thought he had started race 1 on the mediums. I'll need to double check. Wiz on the hards, he I believe was on the mediums, and Banana Cake Pie wanting to make up some ground on the softs, so he'll go with that. Tim Ant as well going with the softs in the middle, and Average Dad going with that backwards stint. Hards first, mediums in the middle. So I'll tell you what, anyone who is watching this stream knows exactly what is going on with the people around them. I'll tell you one person I do know is watching this stream, Mr. Snorksel. And Snorksel, I'm not going to tell you that you have someone in front of you on mediums. And Lemons as well on mediums. Sharky as well on mediums. You've quite a few people around you on mediums, so I expect you to go forward, son. In fact, I'm expecting a lot to happen in this race. People have got a little bit more confidence now in these GT3 cars, so I'm going to crack one in honour of Jono Stan in that solo. As we go side by side now, Velvos this time leading the field, a little bit more pace, closer to that 100 kph mark that we wanted to hit. And these cars just look terrific, don't they? As that was, I don't know who that was in the back, I think that was Tank just getting a little bit sideways out of the second last corner. But we're nearly here for a race start now. Coming around the final corner, Velvos leading them to the line. And once they hit that line, it is go time as Velvos takes them over the starting boxes. Looks great. Go, 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 as DJ there in the background gets a roaring start round the outside of everyone. Velvos leading them down the inside. He's got Blocky and Tank trying to make himself some track. He's in the grass. Sharky not giving him any room at all. Sharky still holds the inside. Velvos, Blocky around his outside. Velvos holds P1, Blocky to P2. Sharky shuffle down to P3. He's got the inside though for turn 3. Not sure he's going to make it happen though with the medium tyres, soft tyres, sorry I should say, underneath Blocky, and that is the dream start from him, dispatching the distinct man straight away. DJ up into P4, that was a great start from him. Tank in P5, holding on. Snorksel in P6, grabs the spot straight away, and Jono Stan aggressive off the start as well. Look at this, into turn 5. So close between everyone. Lemons dives down the inside. Scobby, I think, leaning on the rear quarter of that Beetle there, and they're sideways in the AstroTurf. It is elbows out driving here, just inside the top 10. HB dives down the inside. There's a touch. HB and Jono's been turned around, and these guys into one another. And Jono Stan on the medium tyres has been turned around. That is a shocking start to the race for Jono Stan. And not a lot more to be said there. As Velvos there, oh no, a penalty for Velvos. So from the lead, he must have run wide somewhere. And I just hope that's not going to cost him too much. Of course, lap 1, the worst time possible for that to be happening. Everyone's bunched up, everyone is on behind. And Jono's certainly not happy with HB there. We're going to keep that one for the stewards to decide, assuming there is a protest put in. But it is Blocky Rex in P2, right behind Velvos. Great exit out of the final corner. He'll be able to grab that lead after Velvos serves his penalty. It's Sharky P3 with Tank right behind him and indicating as well. So giving that spot there to Tank, and surely backs out of it early. Tank up into P3. Sharky playing the long game once again and letting these soft runners go at it. As we very shortly, I believe, have an FR Racing 1-2 with the way Tank's moving forward. Sharky drops down into P4. And DJ holding P5. I think that was side by side, Lemons and Snorksel, the two Audis, door banging P6 and P7 as Snorksel looking to make it happen on the soft tyre. Lots of grip now underneath that Kelso electrical entry. And Lemons not wanting to drop positions unnecessarily as Snorksel, late dive there, late dive from the Div 1 driver, makes contact into the back of his fellow Audi. Not sure anything came of it though, very close there. Turning around that Audi Sport R8. Got away with that one. Very close indeed. As we may just go back and have a look at what happened on that opening lap. There was contact. Yeah, there it was, just in the back of the shot. And then Jono got finished up by the rest of the field coming on through. Everyone was involved in that one. Average Dad, Tim Ant, and I think Wiz as well, all involved. And I do wonder if there's going to be a bit of music to pay for HB Motor. That will be looked at afterwards. But that is a later issue and certainly not a now one, as Blocky Rex there, as we suspected, taking the lead from Velvos, who did have to serve his penalty. And Velvos on the soft tyre as well. So this top 3 now all on the soft tyre and going at it. It is even at the front. Porsche, soft. And I think this is going to be a race-long battle as Tank there, diving for the inside, and there's no room there. As Velvos makes sure of it, there is not going to be any fun and games there for Tank, who tried to use pit exit to his advantage. Very brave driving there from the young teenager, trying to get it done early on in this race. Watching his FR Racing teammate disappear in the lead. Blocky Rex getting it done early in this 3-car Porsche battle at the front, as Sharky and DJ holding on to P4 and P5. Lemons with a half-second penalty, so he's grabbed that in turn 3. Very unfortunate for Lemons. That's going to be a free kick there for Snorksel, who simply just needs to sit back now and let that penalty happen. That'll be an easy pass for Snorksel, who was only 2 tenths behind. Don't get too eager, Snorksel. And does hold station, so he knows what's coming. He knows there'll be a position here for him, regardless of what goes on. As he just stays tight and be able to put those softs to good use and hopefully track down DJ, who is only a second and a half up the road. So Snorksel staying in the tow as long as he can. Pulls out, grabbing P6 on his way for Kelso Electrical. And that is a little bit of clean air now for the Division 1 driver to work his magic, as we see Scozzy here has made his way up to P8. So 2 positions gained for him early on, probably due to the misfortune of Jono Stan. And Scozzy on those mediums. Banana Cake Pie in behind, he's grabbed a few positions as well. Tim Ant looking much more racy than he was before. And those softs clearly paying some difference now in that BRZ, which is well known to be very gripped up. So he will be a force to be reckoned with this race. He'll have some pace, and BCP in Tim Ant, very good mates these two. And hopeful, I'm sure, that they'll be able to get past Scozzy as they go on. Tim Ant there pulling down the inside of BCP. And using the added braking performance of that BRZ, gets it done down the inside. The 2 Japanese GT3 cars going side by side, and the 2 mates sorted out very early on as they continue round on lap 5 of this race. We're nearly halfway there already. These are very short, sharp and quick races. As we see actually towards the front, it is door to door right now, Blocky and Velvos. And Velvos here getting swallowed up by Tank, so it's all happening right now towards the top 3. We're going to be paying a little bit more attention to this. Velvos hung out to dry, and he's lost 2 positions, as I believe he made his way back to the lead in Sector 1. Blocky and Tank working together say, no thank you, we want that back, and it's an FR Racing 1-2. Before you could even say cabbage, these 2 Porsches find the front as Velvos there diving down the inside on Tank, and is there any contact? No, keeps it clean. And Tank there sweeping around the outside. He's still just got to be careful here. Always get a little bit squeamish at that kink in Sector 3, just to make sure there's not going to be any late contact. But these guys, very, very experienced drivers, know what they're doing. And even at their young age, they know how to race. They know how to go door to door. And they'll make sure that it is clean, hard fun as we begin lap 5 of the race, lap 6 on circuit. Of course, our formation lap counting towards the lap count. These 3 Porsches, very, very fast indeed. I think it's Lemons there in the background on the back of Snorksel once again. So Lemons is finding it. He's finding it very quick and trying to find his way around the outside of Snorksel. Not quite to be. Snorksel just with that mid-corner grip holds him out, but he has got some serious troubles right now from Lemons, who was incredibly quick, so close to grabbing pole position in qualifying earlier today. I think that was Tank going to the lead. I'm not sure whether he had it before. I'm losing my bearings a little bit. Lots to watch. You're the only commentator in the box at the moment. And these 3 keeping it clean, importantly. Having a lot of fun, keeping it very clean. Checking with them again. Snorksel still holding on over Lemons, who is very close indeed. Tim Ant and closing up to Scobby, so he's actually dropped BCP, who is 2 seconds back now. Must have been a mistake in the opening sector there for BCP. And HB falling off on that hard tyre now, so not the best of starts for HB, of course, caught up in that contact early on as well. Average Dad going a little bit better on the mediums, slinging it through, and there's been another change of position again there. Velvos finding his way to P2, so it's just constantly happening at the front. I feel like any time I move away from the front, there is a change of position somewhere. And you see those soft tyres really starting to get eaten up, so of course these 3, Jesus, where did Sharky come from? That was a jump scare and a half. So distinct Sharky on the medium, closed right up to the rear of Blocky Rex. And that is something that's going to be very menacing in the rear, very menacing in the side mirror of Blocky Rex, as Sharky jumps it up into P3 with that medium tyre underneath him, finding a way to get it done. So Sharky now, I wonder if the tyre wear underneath, of course, these 3 Porsches, soft tyres, it's going to be a little bit much for them to handle. 40.6 from Tank in lap 3, but look at the way that lap time has fallen away from them. It's going to be a bit of a hard ask now for these guys. Velvos now only 3 tenths over Sharky. This soft tyre is looking like it's shredding itself. There's a bit of cheese underneath them right now. And Sharky might just go on board with him, see what he sees. There's going to be a lot more grip underneath this AMG from the looks of things. Haven't seen soft tyres yet tonight. This middle race is the first time we've seen it. And much hotter conditions now than what we saw in race 1, which was of course in the early morning hours. Sharky, you got to say, looking like he is keeping up with Velvos rather easily. Not having to push the car that hard and sitting right in his dirty air as well, going quicker every lap, so that lower fuel load really helping him out. Of course, these cars starting on 70 litres at the start of this race. So a little bit lighter, and every lap they get that little bit lighter again as these cars burn their fuel. So Sharky holding on to a lot of pace, making sure the tyres underneath him aren't going away. Those Dunlops treating him well, holding him in P3 right now. As Lemons has been able to dispatch Snorksel as well, and that may have happened last lap. It was a 44 flat from Snorksel, who has absolutely tortured his front left. Look at the wear on that. And that is absolute trait of a controller driver as well. So Snorksel now plummeting as Average Dad choosing to bow out there. And I hope that wasn't a disconnect from him. Someone pitting, BCP pitting, I believe staying with the softs though, and that is perfectly allowed, so no problems with that. But BCP, the only driver so far tonight we've seen make a pit stop. I think a lot of these soft tyre runners probably missing a trick by using it in the hottest track conditions. Of course, that is something that GT does simulate, much hotter track conditions during the afternoon where the sun is blazing. UV all over the track, a lot more grip, a lot more heat, and a lot more wear. So any one of the softs right now getting very, very fortunate to hold on as well as they have. Tank and Velvos currently 1-2 with softs underneath them. They are disappearing quickly. There's Tank there, 2 laps to go for the young man. 2.5 seconds now over Velvos, our race 1 winner, who has got Sharky all over him. That distinct livery, so iconic in Oceania. And is he close enough for a dive? I think he's just going to be a little bit far back. Doesn't really want to initiate contact unless he has to. And even then, he's got to make sure it's nice and respectful. Rubbing is racing, but turning around the blokey racing most certainly is not. And Sharky there, massive gains through turn 3, huge. 10th.5 now off the back of Velvos. There's got to be a move coming now. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. You've got to say for Sharky, who, look at that overlap already. Round the outside, is he going to be able to make this happen in turn 5? Sharky in the AMG. Velvos doesn't want to let him go that easily, but Sharky's just trying to hang on around the outside. Velvos does hold on in that Porsche, and these two going side by side in the late stages of race 2, making it happen here at RaceOnOz. Of course, Imitation Games, GT3 round 1. This is room 1, 2 rooms happening tonight. And a massive thank you to Selraf hosting room 2 as Average Dad finds his way back in. Unfortunate for him to drop out, but he will be considered to have made the end of the race. 75% completed as Sharky there down the inside of Velvos up into P2 on the mediums. And that was a quick little flash of the indicators as a thank you. And Snorksel there, he's dicing now with Scobby, and rightfully so. That front left is torched, and it was Blocky actually who has made a massive mistake somewhere. I completely missed it. But Blocky has dropped out of the top 4. Oh, you know why? His front left is finished, ladies and gentlemen. That front left has seen better days, probably before it was even made. And Blocky Rex just going wrong with the tyre strategy. Needed to use the softs in the first or third race, it has to be said. And it's going to be a long final lap for Blocky Rex. There's a lot of these guys now struggling with the tyres. But one man who isn't, Tank, holding on still. 41.7, quicker than Sharky. He's got it, I think. He has got it. It'll take quite a boo-boo from Tank now to drop that much time to Sharky, who is in P2 now and stretching the lead over Velvos. Who's fallen to P3. DJ Master P4, still with that medium tyre, saving the softs till last. Very, very wisely so. Lemons, the beneficiary there. A medium tyre runner again from him. Scozzy in P6 now, making up 4 spots. And he's been wise to use that medium. And Snorksel still hanging on to dear life. And that front left has seen better days. I say it again, but that is a tortured front left tyre right now. He's hanging on just hanging on to it. But he's got Tim Ant for company, who has also got a very tortured front left. But the BRZ very kind on its tyres. Tim Ant still leading Blocky Rex, who may hang on to a top 10 here. And I'm sure he is dreading these right-handers as the front left screams. Nomas. HB still in the top 10. And the man he made contact with very early, Jono Stan, with a recovery to P11. Beneficiary of all of these cars having tyre problems. And Wiz P12. Banana Cake Pie P13. Of course, it was Average Dad that we lost. Tank taking the checkered flag. Missed that one. My apologies, Adam. And it's a very, very well-driven win there for Tank. Sharky P2 on the mediums. Softs still to come for him. Velvos holds on to P3 over the hard-charging DJ ahead of Lemons in P5. Rounds out our top 5. Scozzy in P6. Tim Ant makes it happen to get P7. A great finish from him as Snorksel's tyre just hangs on to grab P8. Blocky Rex holds on for P9. Surely unhappy with the tyre situation will be Blocky. HB holds on for P10. And Jono Stan, P11 is all he had after that early contact. Wiz in P12 and Banana Cake Pie, after trialling a pit stop, will bring it home for P13. It was Average Dad with a disconnection, you have to assume, in P14. He's been able to rejoin as Banana Cake Pie brings it across the line in the Yokohama Lancer Evo. And that is our result for race 2. And surely quite a few people will be a little bit up in arms about the tyre situation there. And Snorksel already in the chat, wondering who said that the softs last 10 laps. But it was Tank who did make the softs last 10 laps in the Porsche. And a great result there for Tank, grabbing the win. And only one race to go. As we might just take a quick break from commentary and leave it on our results. And everyone, I think, just a little bit taken back by the tyre wear of that race too. Those choosing to use the softs in the afternoon. I will check our time of day for race 3 for Snorks. I believe it's night. It is indeed night, Snorksel. I don't know if you heard me say that. As there we go. That room lobby change. Darker track conditions now. So into the night we go. Light is fading. And all of these lights now of the GT3 cars, and these drivers will have to be using the last of their tyres they have left. Now that I believe everyone is just about on track. Just missing Tank, who will be right back. And I'll just save. Oh, I missed the replay. No. Bugger, missed that replay, but we'll keep up the results here for Snorksel. I just saw the YouTube comment. Oh, so you don't need results, Snorksel? Okay, he's got the replay. Smart man. as we recoup here for race 2. I might actually just have a look at how this looks on track as Banana Cake Pie going for the car change, which is allowed. You are allowed to do that. Just pull up these race info. And this is going to look very good with the darker conditions. So we'll just go back. Oh, sorry, Snorksel. There you go. There we go. My grid should be set. Oh, you need next page as well. I thought you had the replay. What is this? Absolute nonsense. Snorksel should just about have that now. Surely. 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 Mate, surely. Oh, I give up waiting. I'm just going to believe that you got it. Looks like you did. You know what, Snorksel, if you're listening still, can you please... Oh, you know what? BCP is going to get a pass to stay P13. I was going to say, can we give him a rear grid penalty for changing cars? But average dad DSCing, I'm just going to keep them where they are. Yep, I'm happy with that. Alright, quick one. Odds, right, evens, left. Yep, and that should do it. I don't know how to spell remaining, apparently. That's okay. We're good to go. Have at him, Captain Snorksel. There we go. Starting orders, look at that. Blinded by the light. Let's just have a look at how it looks from on board the drivers. That is a very cool look. And all these guys flashing. Yes, we see you. Hello. Hello. We see every single one of you as we begin our formation lap from the start. All these cars under lights. This is going to be a good looking finish to the night. And Tank leading us off, doing plenty of fuel burning, and I wouldn't mind if he were to go a little bit quicker than that, because otherwise this will take forever. There we go, that's a bit better. We'll double check what everyone's got underneath them for the start of this race. The final race, of course, in the colder conditions of the night. If anyone's left the soft tyres till now, they are clever, clever cookies. Tank starting on the medium, Sharky in second alongside him on the soft tyre. Why couldn't we grab Velvos there? There he is. Hard tyres for Velvos, so he's going for the reverse strategy. He is going to be... Ooh, we're going to watch Velvos plummet, I think. That is going to be a very tall order for him to hold on, especially when he's got DJ behind him on the softs, Lemons on the softs, Scobby on the softs. Tim-Man on the mediums, Snorksel on the hards, so Snorksel as well is going to struggle big time. Blocky on the hards as well. That soft tyre run hurt him big time. HB and Jono getting very, very close for comfort, and I hope that's not a little bit of retaliation from Jono Stan, who is certainly showing HB that he's not happy with him. He's just got to be careful there, because that is, contact on a formation lap, especially if it's intentional, is certainly nothing that we want to see. Jono on the softs anyway, will be quick in that Beetle. Whiz on the softs. Banana Cake Pie making that car change to the Jaguar, technically with a rear of grid penalty, but makes use of the fact that Average Dad, disconnecting from the last race, hangs on to the last row of the grid with a soft tyre now to use, and surely moving forward over the night. Look at that number board light up as well. That is fantastic on the Ferrari. As we now go double file round the final two corners. Tank and Sharky on your front row. Two heavyweights of the Gran Turismo 7 Oceania League Racing World. These two guys have been going at it for quite some time. We're going to see it one more time. 10 laps, 9 racing laps to go. Tank versus Sharky. And we have a race start. Tank with the launch over Sharky, who tucks in behind. Velvos tucking in as well. DJ trying to get the run, not using the slipstream. Can he duck down the inside of Velvos? Needs to get that move done straight away. Doesn't want to be held up as they go 3 wide nearly into turn 1. Sharky really aggressive down the inside on that softer compound. Tank not letting it happen, but Sharky still with overlap into turn 3 down the inside, and it's going to be a hard ass now for Tank. Can he hold on around the outside? He can't. It's Sharky to the lead. Sharky in the AMG makes it happen straight away as he goes defensive. Tank knows how important these first few corners are. If he can't get him now, Sharky will gap him. Tank holding on around the outside. Is there room there? Is there some track he can hang on to? There's contact between the two heavyweights. DJ now around the outside, soft tyres on that Ferrari. Of course, he has to be considered as well, and Tank losing out big time to DJ and Lemons, second and third, and it's got to be conceded now for Tank, who loses ground all the way to these guys, first to fourth in the matter of a minute for Tank, who's now tail lights all in front of it. It's Jono Stan, who's made up so much ground up into P5, who runs wide there onto the back straight. He's got Tank in front of him now. He's not going to wait either as he ducks to the outside in that solo liveried Beetle. And it's wide for Sharky, and it's going to be chaos here into the final sector. They're nearly 3 wide. Sharky in the grass makes contact with Jono. Sharky goes from first to fourth in the blink of an eye, and Lemons in the lead on debut. The 87 back to the front with DJ in second. Tank somehow back into P3, but it's Sharky back into P3 now, with Jono making a capitalisation on the young man down the inside. Jono Stan P4. Tank rounds out your top 5, but it's Scotty right behind him. This is chaos for the first lap. You could just about throw a handkerchief over your top 6. They are all nose to tail. Tank trying to make a move. Scozzy trying to find a way. It's all we can see as headlights as they dive into turn 1. Brake rotors aglow in the Lamborghini, and everyone all hustling very hard. There's someone that's fallen all the way to the back. It's Wiz and HB, the Ferrari and the McLaren, and that's not the way that either of these guys wanted this race to be going, as they go side by side into turn 1, racing like it's for the lead. And as long as these guys can have some fun out of it, then I am very happy for them. But side by side there through the opening corners. But it's Lemons, the big mover in those opening laps, after Sharky seemingly got it wrong all on his own on the entrance to the final sector and losing so much ground. Sharky on that soft tyre. Last thing he wanted to do once he was in the lead was lose out to Lemons and DJ, also on the softs. And these two very, very quick operators. Sharky's got a lot of work to do now to make up the ground, but it's Jono Stan out of nowhere, who has just been quietly shuffling his way forward, of course taken out very, very early in race 2, and he's all over the back of Sharky in the Beetle right now. Where has Jono Stan come from? Is there a podium in the future for him? We'll see. Top 4 drivers all on soft tyres. Even fights everywhere we look, as Tank there holding on for P5. And the Porsche still doing bits now to hang on there, as Scozzy in P6. It's been an awesome start for him on the soft tyre, and that immediate tyre life advantage over Tank. Can have all the grip underneath him, and Banana Cake Pie making that Jaguar really work and stretch its legs as these guys chasing each other around the circuit. That was Sharky and Jono, as Sharky goes defensive over Jono. Jono with the late move as Sharky slams the door on him and says, we're not having that, not right now. As old school versus new school, Jono Stan, one of the must-watch drivers, gets a half-second penalty there for seemingly getting a little cheeky with the track limits down the main straight. And Sharky probably breathing a bit of a sigh of relief there, knowing that Beetle is going to be a little bit further back as they come around onto the main straight the next time around. And that is a chance gone amiss there for Jono, who realistically couldn't do a lot more, but it was oh so close to getting P3 for the Volkswagen Beetle, and that's something we're not used to seeing or saying. That is a very, very good start for Jono. He'll have to make sure he doesn't lose too much time. Probably a spot to Tank here, who has to be focusing now, has to be nailing his entries and exits. And in particular, this one here, the right-hander onto the back straight. And he is just over 8/10 back. There should be a pass here for position as we go on board with Tank. He's got a great run here into the hairpin, but not quite, as Jono goes deep. Oh, Jono overdoes it there into the hairpin. Where's he going to rejoin? In side by side with Scozzy, who gives him room. And that was very, very kind from these guys as Jono tries to fight back straight away. And that Beetle, very unhappy to have lost those positions. It was all looking so good for Jono Stan, and he's got a lot of work to do once again in behind the Lamborghini, picking up a lot of grass and running wide actually. So Jono should have this one nice and early, making it up straight away. And Scozzy giving him the little tap, goes, hey, I see you. We are tapping down the straight, actually, Scozzy and Jono into one another. These two are maybe not happy about something. Scozzy potentially not happy about the rejoin in Sector 3. I didn't see anything that he should have been unhappy about. But Jono there making it up back into the top 5 for Jono Stan. As Lemons, we go from one Lemon car to another. As the yellow R8, a second to the good over DJ Master, who has still got Sharky in his rear view, and Sharky lamenting that mistake on lap 1 into Sector 3. He's going to be ruining that one for quite some time. I don't believe there was any contact. He kind of stretched his legs a little bit, but that, yeah, just ran it wide, and all the chaos that ensued afterwards. And all of these guys pretty much piled into one corner all at once. And I think everyone knew at that point what was going to happen. Top 5 here, still all within the one shot. Jono Stan, of course, back in the top 5. Scozzy following him in P6, I beg your pardon. The lone Hurricane in the field. Banana Cake Pie in the Jag F-Type, of course, only one of that in the field tonight. Tim-Ant, P8, hanging on the mediums right now. And Average Dad is already up to P9. So inside the top 10 for the first time tonight is Average Dad, car 33, making good on those rough first 2 races for him. Blocky Rex holding on in P10, of course. Hard tyres underneath him, and it is Velvos in the Porsche, also hard tyres underneath him. So these two struggling right now on the harder compound. Snorksel as well, harder compound underneath him, while HB and Wiz at the back. Duke it out for P13. Soft tyres underneath these guys, but they come a cropper very early on. I think lap 1, there must have been some sort of contact between these guys who were starting very close to one another. And it is a race of who doesn't finish last now, as Wiz there running it wide out of the final corner actually. And I'm sure it's going to be a very, very long final race for these two. At least they've got each other. Go back up to the front here, Lemons stretching that lead now over Sharky, who's actually grabbed a position on DJ. So was there a move earlier on in the first sector there? We might just go back and check it on the replays after we see here DJ all over the back of Sharky still. Getting the run, actually. That was a great run there from the Ferrari, that older model Ferrari. 2 generations old, actually. We've had the 488 and the 296 since we last saw a 458 in regular competition. God, doesn't it look fantastic, though. We'll just check that replay, see if there wasn't a big mistake somewhere from DJ. But I think it may have actually just been a well-orchestrated move from Sharky. Runs that higher line and ducks down the inside. DJ not going defensive. Sharky pokes the car down the inside, not taking no for an answer. That is a very, very forceful move from the Distinct Racing man, who puts it back into P2 after leading the opening lap of this race. DJ not going to let him go too easily. And we see all that dirt being kicked up, lit up by the headlights of these cars, and don't they look fantastic? Headlights ablaze, the Spanish sunset somewhere in the background over the mountains. I think Barcelona's probably got to be one of the top 10 places in the world to go see a sunset. I think if I had the option to factor in some GT3 cars to watch that sunset under, I probably wouldn't hesitate one bit. Tank there just closing up now with the medium tyre underneath him, so maybe this tyre life advantage just coming back to Tank. You can see mediums faring far better than the soft tyre. Important to remember though that the soft tyre will survive a little bit better than what it did in race 2. Of course, lower track temps in the nighttime conditions means longer tyre life. And, in theory, some quicker times as well. We've seen a 40.5 from Lemons, which is very quick indeed. Nearly a second off what we saw in qualifying. Not too shabby at all from the Audi driver. Lead Audi driver tonight. I believe the only other Audi in the field currently would be Snorksel. Should be back in about P12 currently. And a massive thank you as well to Snorksel, who has taken the time to host our lobbies tonight. After a few internet connection issues earlier on, nearly cost us average dad altogether. Is DJ there? Very wide out of the final corner, and I almost wonder if he was just following. Yeah, might have been following Sharky, as those guys all just understeering a little bit out of that final corner, really hustling to try and catch Lemons, who is getting it done in fine fashion, I must say. Great to see as well all these guys jumping on with the yellow headlights as well. That's a change that we've made quite late to this series. GT3 livery rigs changed for both this GT World Challenge and WEC for GT3 drivers, so that they have yellow headlights ablaze during all of their sessions. We just see actually yellow headlights ablaze. Tank's Porsche is really closed up now to the back of DJ. Those medium tyres certainly giving him a little bit more grip than those ahead of him in the closing stages of this race. Only 2 laps to go once we hit the finish line of lap 8 of the race, and that is a great exit there from Tank. Is actually much closer this lap. DJ goes defensive. Tank fakes one down the inside, and he's got overlap now around the outside, but he doesn't quite have the grip. That would be a hell of a move from there around the outside of a very, very tough hairpin for Adam L. Zane. Of course, race winner in the Motorsport Australia Saturday League Cup last season. Someone we will certainly see going forward in RaceOnOz competition. And in behind DJ. Great exit there out of the final corner. Inside a 10th between these two. And DJ now fighting it. DJ is in all sorts of trouble to hang on to this podium as they go side by side down the main straight. Tank just giving it a quick little weave, keeping the tyres in it. DJ squeezing him down there side by side into the braking zone of 1, and Tank trying to hold on. Does he? They're side by side through 2, but DJ keeps it on the track. This is a valiant defensive effort here from DJ Master. McSweeney doing his best to keep it ahead, and that older gen Ferrari looking very, very wide from the POV of Adam L. Zane in the Porsche. Our lead Porsche currently. Is actually great to see all of the variety top to back, as Tank there looking for any bit of track he can to try and find some advantage on DJ. That was out in the grass there for the young man who just wants to get this done now. Getting a little bit impatient. Maybe sees a P2 if he can make it happen nice and early. Tyres fading on the soft runners, so this top 3 certainly hurting. And you see in the background there, John O'Stan's got Scobby for company, as John O'Stan, remember as well, is a soft tyre runner. So Scobby certainly got more tyre life than him. Tank with a little bit of overlap potentially, looking for it. DJ defends well. And nothing doing there for the young man. Not going to be able to get it done into Sector 3. As we'll check in here as we're about to begin our final lap with Lemons in that yellow R8 on his debut night in RaceOnOz. Has certainly made a name for himself. He was not a known quantity coming in, someone we haven't seen a lot of. Had to ask him actually what sort of pace we'd expect to see out of him. And I'll tell you what, there are just some things where the driving speaks for itself. As Lemons 2.3 to the good over Sharky, who so uncharacteristically made a huge mistake into the final sector on the opening lap, as we just check in again with P3 and P4 as Tank finally gets it done on DJ Master, and up into the top 3 on the final lap goes the young man who has had a very, very impressive night behind the wheel of that Porsche, the lead Porsche so far in what is a very variety-driven night. It's Scobby as well who's jumped up into the top 5, so making it happen. And I beg your pardon, Scobby is still on the soft tyres, so he's got some pace in the Lambo, making that mid-engined Lambo work. And isn't that a gorgeous V10 engine note there from Scozzy, top 5. John Ostan in the top 6. Banana Cake Pie in 7th. Tim Man all over him, so these two, once again, good mates, battling it out on the final lap, trying to make it happen, and Tim Man flashing away, trying to distract Banana here. See if he can get any sort of advantage out of him. Get a top 7 once again in the BRZ and making it happen. And it's actually 9 different cars in the top 9 as averaged out in that different spec Ferrari. The 296 GT3 still in the top 10 as we go back to our leader. Coming around now, the penultimate corner in the Audi, and what a night it has been for the debutant. As he swings it around now, the final corner. Lemon Z 7836 takes the checkered flag in our final race of the night, ahead of Distinct Sharky. A very, very nice recovery drive indeed, ahead of Tank, who rounds out the podium, and DJ Master for P4 just lost out on that final lap, as Scozzy for P5, as John Ostan actually must have made a mistake late on, just holds off for P6, as Banana and Tim with a photo finish for 7 and 8. Average Dad holds on for P9. Velvos rounds out our top 10 after seemingly having an incident with Snorksel earlier on in that race. It's Blocky Rex with a recovery to P11 under that hard tyre, as Snorksel for P12 also on the hards. Wiz in P13 is the better of these two MR cars at the back. The second of which being HP Motor, who will bring it across the line in the McLaren. The McLaren a little bit lacking in the livery department. A few livery regs missing there, but HB rounds out the field in what was a brilliant night of racing here for RaceOnOz Imitation Games GT3 round 1, and it's a Lemon 87 as we see there. Number 87 back on top. It's been a long time between drinks for the car 87, of course. Paul Cantinoli and Noodles getting it done. A few years ago it's been since we really last saw Noodles near the top, but it's back and it is winning. A very, very well done to Lemon as everyone vacates the lobby. It's been a long night of racing for all of these guys. We'll save the replay and grab the results here. Make sure we grab both of those so we can screenshot them later and post them. Brilliant night of racing once again, and I hope for those of you who do choose to watch this back, thank you all for being a part of Imitation Games. Once again, the first round of the GT3 series, and happy to be pushing through with this one for the year. A couple of cool tracks coming up, of course. We'll head to the Nordschleife, I believe Spa as well on the calendar for GT3. Quite a few cool tracks. Autopolis could be flavour of the month as well at some stage. Calendars are posted and visible on the Discord. So a massive thank you to all of you for showing the interest in this category and making it happen. Of course, a little bit of fun outside of what we do for Sunday League. Thank you, HP, for coming along. Thank you, everybody. And we will cut it off here. Massive thank you to all of our sponsors, of course, the Gamesman, Get Set Financial Services, Selby Acoustics, and a few more partners yet to be announced, actually, going forward for RaceOnOz. So exciting times to be a part of the RaceOnOz community, and a never a bad time to be joining in with the racing. I have been Viper. This is always such an awkward part, doing the sign-off. Thank you guys for tuning in and for watching. And just thank you for being a part of it all. I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.